One more. One more. Beautiful. Good. That's what we've got to bring him on to. Nobody can take that.
Had to wear the Kronk merch. Shout out Kronk. So first session is strength. We're basically going to be doing some explosive weights. High intensity, short amount of time. We're working on our sprint system.
If I can beat Jake Paul, then excuse my French, what the f is Anthony Joshua going to do to Jake Paul? I think my dad said AJ could beat him with his prick, and I completely will back that up. Even if AJ had a broken arm in there, it still won't go past a minute.
Anthony Joshua locks in with laser-sharp focus as he grinds through a ruthless training camp for Jake Paul, unleashing power sessions, precision movement drills, and a calm but dangerous confidence that shows he's sharpening himself for destruction. On the other side, Jake Paul pushes harder than ever, desperate to prove he belongs with an elite heavyweight. Both men are grinding, both refusing to break, creating a storm of anticipation for a matchup the entire world can't stop talking about right now as tension keeps rising every second.
One thing I knew he was a hard worker. Second thing I knew genetically he's very gifted. But I knew after the evaluation we had some work to do. Now I've seen his body already evolve into something totally different. I've seen his conditioning evolve into something different. And more importantly, his understanding of his body and why he's doing things the way he's doing them. That's the most important evolution I've seen.
Anthony Joshua moves through camp with unshakable confidence, fully aware of the clear advantage he carries over Jake Paul. Despite that edge, he refuses to relax, pushing himself every single day to make a statement. Joshua's mission is straightforward: enter the ring, dominate with authority, and silence the constant noise, hype, and bold claims coming from Jake. For Joshua, this fight is all about proving levels and showing the world his greatness once again today.
That's all that matters.
Because early on, if you look for power, you waste energy, then that power evaporates. When they're tired, you ain't got the power to take them out. So you open up in the gap for no reason. So just relax, flow.
Just pop off that region.
You were saying,
just pop off that region. Anytime you move, that should be that. That should be that. Yeah. And then there's the controls down the middle. All right.
Yeah.
Control, smooth, relax. Last minute, mate. That'll do you now. Uppercut. Good. Right hand. Good. Left hook high. Good. Uppercut high. And again.
Eddie Hearn breaks down the reality behind Anthony Joshua's decision, explaining that the financial offer on the table is simply too enormous to ignore, especially at this stage of his career. Joshua has already conquered almost everything a heavyweight can achieve, from belts to accolades, making this a strategic move rather than a desperate gamble. Hearn emphasizes that prize fighting has always balanced legacy and earnings, and when a fighter is presented with a massive payday for a contest he can handle without overextending himself, it's a smart, practical choice. He stresses that Joshua isn't doing anything unusual or wrong, he's maximizing the opportunities in front of him. Turning down such lucrative offers, especially when timing and training align perfectly, is unrealistic for any top-level fighter. Hearn believes Jake Paul offering such a huge purse has simply opened a door, and Joshua is walking through it logically, understanding that boxing isn't just about glory, it's also about seizing the right business opportunities at the right time.
Mike Coppinger, have that one's in the works and looking likely for December. What can you tell?
Yeah, not yet. I mean, there has been conversations, obviously. I think it comes down to how true, they are. Jake Paul is that he actually wants to fight. I mean, he's a madman if he wants to fight. But for some reason, and he thinks he can beat AJ. And I have to be honest, we were going to have a run out in December, over 8 rounds against a bloke you've never heard of. And we may end up having a run out against Jake Paul for a career high payday. I don't see how we can turn it down.
When I asked you about it a couple of days ago, you said that at that time you never really got into the financials. Have those been discussed now? Have you discussed the financial element?
Yeah, there has been some conversations around that, and it is, it's a huge amount of money. And I think AJ would be mad if he didn't do it, and I think he will do it if Jake Paul is genuine. We may wake up tomorrow with these people and they've announced another fight. Honestly, anything could happen. So still can't get my head around the fact that this guy wants to challenge AJ. Listen, respect to him if it's true, but we shall see.
To end on that note, I spoke to Alpha Sharman earlier. He said that himself or DAZN have had no conversations about AJ potentially taking that fight. Obviously, AJ is exclusive to DAZN. What's the situation with regards to that? Because I know everyone here.
The fight's done. Obviously, it's not done because those conversations have to take place. I'm very confident that I can have some positive conversations with DAZN. Obviously, we'll be on a clock, but 50-50.
Last one from me. I saw Chris McKenna tweeted that Anthony Joshua currently doesn't have a British Boxing Board of Control licence. Obviously, it's not unusual for someone who isn't fighting currently and is inactive to let it run out. But he'd have to apply for one to face Jake Paul again. And then they'd have to approve a fight. Do you think that'd be something?
Experts point out that Anthony Joshua's resume already boasts battles against some of the most formidable heavyweights of his generation, proving his elite status. Even after a 14-month layoff, they insist the experience gap between him and Jake Paul is massive. Analysts highlight that Joshua has spent years facing champions, knockout artists, and top-tier athletes who pushed him to his limits, tests far beyond what any social media-driven fighter has faced. While any period of inactivity can impact a boxer, they stress that Joshua's fundamentals, raw power, reach, and ring IQ provide a clear and commanding advantage over someone still learning the ropes. His previous defeat does not diminish his standing here, as the level of competition he encountered far exceeds Jake Paul's experience. Overall, experts believe Joshua's skill set, even after time away, is more than enough to control and dominate the fight at will.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Brutal knockout against Dubois.
Yeah.
Not the same AJ maybe of the past. He's 36. He's got a chance to earn £70 million, maybe to add to the 150 he's already got. Why wouldn't he do it? Because why would he want to maybe for 5 or 10 million fight Fabio Wardley, who's dangerous, Toma, who's dangerous? Surely from an AJ point of view, it makes sense.
Makes sense. From any fighter's point of view, it makes sense because you're in... Listen, belts don't pay your mortgage, do they? And I know he's got a lot of dough anyway, but 70 million... If someone's going to throw you 70 million quid to fight a lad that struggled and lost Tommy Fury, you're going to take it on.
Yep.
So from AJ's point of view, yep, completely get that. From Jake Paul's point of view, you're leveraging your audience in the world of boxing and making a ton of cash fighting the former 2-time unified heavyweight champion of the world. Mate, most boxing fans would bite your hand off at that opportunity, especially if you're throwing 70 million quid in the pot as well. I've no problem with the promoters. My problem is that it can't be a legitimate fight. Let's be dead honest about this, right?
Eddie Hearn said it will be.
Listen, there is no commission on the planet that can authorise that fight. It's a 2-time unified heavyweight world champion. Still in his athletic prime. He just said he's 36. We're not talking Mike Tyson age of 50 odd here now, are we? Olympic gold medalist. He's had 13 world title fights his age. 13 of them. Against the very best guys.
And could take his head off.
Like it doesn't
It is dangerous.
Yeah.
It is absolutely dangerous. Like I've just said, Jake Paul struggled with Tommy Fury. The levels between these two guys are ridiculous. The commissions cannot sanction that as a legitimate fight. There has to be a rule change. It has to be an exhibition. And then you can have a little bit of a move.
Hold on, Gav. Let's go. Let's...
Adam Cataterall delivers a sharp critique of the choice to make this a sanctioned bout rather than an exhibition. He warns that turning it into a fully competitive fight exposes Jake Paul to serious risk, given that Joshua's natural power far exceeds anything Paul has ever encountered. Cataterall explains that exhibitions allow for controlled pacing and safety measures, but a real fight removes these protections entirely. He stresses that Paul may not grasp just how devastating a heavyweight's punch can be, particularly from someone with Joshua's size, skill, and experience. Questioning whether entertainment should take precedence over safety, Cataterall argues this matchup veers into dangerous territory. While fans may revel in the spectacle, stepping into the ring under official rules against a former world champion is a completely different challenge than facing opponents at a YouTube or celebrity level, making the risk much higher than most realize.
Joshua's next fight in the coming days, and now it looks very much like it's going to be Jake Paul, the controversial figure. Whatever you think about him, he makes a lot of money, huge views, sells fights, but he was supposed to fight Gervonta Davis. That is not happening, and now he's potentially facing one of the biggest names in heavyweight boxing. Whenever you mention the name Anthony Joshua, people are interested, and of course the fight people still want to see is Anthony Joshua against Tyson Fury, and that's the dream fight which Eddie Hearn, Frank Warren and Turki Al-Sheikh are trying to make next year. But Eddie Hearn has said we need Anthony Joshua back in that ring. He's not been in the ring since losing to Daniel Dubois in devastating fashion at Wembley Stadium last year. But if he'd have said that time ago that his next fight would be Jake Paul, not a single person on this planet would believe me. But it does look like now that Anthony Joshua, the former world champion, is about to face Jake Paul in a month's time.
Mate, it's a great thing. So we're going to shut that Jake Paul nonsense away. AJ's going to knock him out.
Would it be similar, do you think, to the way AJ knocked out Francis Ngannou? Because Eddie Hearn's just said about the rage maybe AJ.
It'll be worse. It'll be worse. It'll be worse.
1 round?
1 round. But if he goes past 3 rounds, we don't know what's going to happen.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. If AJ goes in there trying to mess around, trying to show his boxing skills, nah. He's going to go in there and light him out. That's what we want.
Yeah. I mean, is it something you'd love to see as well? I know. I mean, you've known AJ
Listen,
for a
we're all going to be tuning in to watch it. That is it. There's nothing else. December, before Christmas.
Fans have been desperate to see Anthony Joshua face Tyson Fury, the dream heavyweight clash teased for years. Yet instead, Joshua is stepping into the ring with Jake Paul. Experts explain that boxing politics, timing, and contracts made Fury impossible right now, while the Paul fight was simple to arrange with immediate rewards. Analysts, including Tommy Fury and David Haye, stress Joshua's size, power, skill, and experience create an overwhelming advantage over Paul, highlighting the real risks of this mismatch. Even if surprises can happen in boxing, Joshua's fundamentals and strength make the outcome predictable. The consensus is clear: Paul is out of his depth, and Joshua could end the fight quickly. This is not just a spectacle, it's a statement. Don't miss a second of the action. Subscribe now, hit that like button, and share this video so everyone sees the breakdown of Anthony Joshua's next massive fight.